with pizzazz. It's a nice day. It's a cool day here in Asheville, North Carolina. North Carolina. All right. We're going today, number 1, 2, and 3 reasons why most relationships are doomed from the start. Now, if these ring true to you in your relationship, don't fret, because once you identify them, you have a chance to start to rectify the underlying problem. And this again isn't about like a tip for a Band-Aid or something like that. This is like the deep stuff, right? That just, when you don't know that it's going on, it will just sneak inside of your relationship and kill it. It will kill it. So I'm being a little sinister here. I mean, Halloween's coming up pretty soon, so we can be sinister here. My camera just died right there, so I'm gonna try to do this before the battery dies. Number 1 is abundance, or lack of abundance. What does this mean, right? What does it mean? Abundance is a good thing, yes. Now, what does it mean to get into a relationship out of something other than abundance? It means something different for men and women, right? So let's talk about what it means for guys. Now, guys, when you get out of a relationship and then you start dating again, you know, it's like, let's just be honest here. Let's say when your relationship ends, you stop having sex or stop having regular sex, and it's like, and then you start dating again, and maybe you went a couple weeks or even a couple months or even a couple decades, who knows, without like bonding and love and sex and all this good stuff. It's fun to date, right? So you start dating, and what happens is you date maybe one person, maybe two, maybe a couple, maybe they're okay, right? But the first time you meet somebody who you think is slightly better than the last relationship you were in, very quickly do we latch onto it. We don't mean to do this, it's better. So we're like, I've made it. That's what that shitty relationship was for. That's what that breakup was for. It's all makes sense now. Now I'm here. And so we've leveled up, and we're like, yes. And so we grab onto it. And we start spending more time with that person. And eventually, it kind of turns into a relationship. Now, we don't think this is going on at the time, but in retrospect, can you look back on your past relationships and see that you date somebody, and when you find someone who's better than your last relationship, better than the people you've been dating, it's like you go on a second date with them. You're excited. You just date them more until they become your relationship. It wasn't necessarily a choice. So that's not abundance, right? Abundance would be, you don't when you start going up, you don't reach a new level and stop. You keep reaching new levels, because you'll just keep going up. Now, you don't stop when you meet the first person who just like knocks your socks off. There's no number. You don't have to stop after 1, 2, 10 people. It doesn't matter. The point is that it's not a singular choice. It's very easy to get brought into a relationship when that one person is so much better than the other people we've been dating. We have a better connection. What if you had the last 5 dates that you went on were all of higher caliber than relationships you were used to? And after a while, you get to know these people. And then when you decide it's time to get into a relationship, it's not from lack, because you actually are having great, deep, meaningful interactions with different people, several people. You actually get to choose from abundance the relationship that you want. So that's what I mean from abundance. Now, women, actually, I feel for you. You have it more difficult, because women don't need to date in the same way that men do. Just because being the fact that you are a woman, if you're watching this, you don't have to do much in order to meet men. You basically just have to be alive. And barely, you could just be on Tinder or Plenty of Fish or OK, whatever, or Bumble. That's the big one now, isn't it? I don't know. You could just be on there and you're getting hit up and hit up and hit up all the time. You just need to have a pulse and you have options. So abundance for a woman is even more difficult because you have abundance. You can just go to a bar, you can go to a social event, you can just be alive and you have options. You have a lot of men who are hitting you up, right? So there are choices, but are there high quality choices? So it's even more difficult for a woman because she doesn't, if you're a woman watching this, you don't need, it's not required of you to level yourself up when you're single in order to have a partner. It's required of you to level yourself up to have a higher quality partner. But for men and women, when you get into a relationship out of not having abundance, out of comfort, out of pacifying fear, for example. My kitty cat's down there. She's looking at the groundhog. She's hunting it. You see her? She's hunting the groundhog. But she won't catch him. He's safe down there. I've made sure. Getting into a relationship out of something other than abundance, that's number one. Because when you get into it from abundance, you're not pacifying yourself. It's a choice. It's a deliberate choice. Okay, that's number one. Number two, and these are the three reasons why a relationship is doomed to fail from the start, right? Number one, whoop, not flicking. Let's choose a different finger. Number two, okay? You don't know what you want. You don't know what you want. It's like building a business. Is anybody watching this an entrepreneur of some sorts? You wouldn't just start, if you start building your business not knowing where you're going, it doesn't work. Okay, the best example is a house. Now, if you're going to build a house, you need a blueprint, right? You have a blueprint, you know exactly where you're going, you know exactly what you want, and you can take the steps to get there. Now, if you just start hammering boards together and sticking them in the ground and maybe buying some mulch and all this stuff, what are you going to be left with? You'll have a house, but is it going to be the house you wanted? Is it going to be a house that is good for you? Is it going to cave in on you and crush you? Is it going to fit your stuff? Is it going to fit your family? Who knows? Who knows? So, same thing with your relationship. If you don't go into it with an intention, knowing what you want, then it's doomed to likely fail. Not every time, but it's not going to be your ideal relationship. So how do you know what you want in a relationship? Why do most people not know what they want when they enter into a relationship? And the reason is simple. It's because it's difficult to know. It's hard. It's really hard to know, to get clear on what you want. Do you even know super clearly what you want in life, in your job, in your current relationship? Like really clearly, very fucking clearly? How about, do you really know what makes you happy? Really, really? Do you really know how much money it would take for you to be happy? Do you really know? Most people don't have absolute clarity with a lot of these things. Isn't that interesting? Because it takes mental engagement to get there. So here's what this means in your relationship, right? If you're not clear on what you want, this is law of attraction. The universe will give you what you ask for. So if you ask the universe for, I heard this story, I can't remember where this was from. I heard this last week about a woman who wanted a car. She was trying to manifest a new car for herself. And she got really fucking specific. She knew what color it was. She knew what model it was. She knew everything about it. She even knew what she wanted to pay for it. And guess what? She found the car. I don't know how long it took. It was like weeks. She found the car. But it didn't run. So the universe will give you what you're asking for, but it's your job to be really specific. So if energetically, if you're asking for a partner who cares about you, who loves you, who's attractive, who shares certain values, that's great. Is it good enough? No. Now, you don't need to list out every quality. It's not listing out of the qualities and making a huge checklist. Although that helps too. It's a fun exercise. You should totally do that, just to know what you want. But what is really important is exactly how you want to feel. So you should have a checklist before getting into a relationship, or if you're in it now, it's okay to create that checklist now of what you want to feel like in your relationship. You can include some external things too about what your partner sounds like or looks like. But remember, if they look a certain way that you think you want, you just want that because it makes, when you find a partner who looks a certain way, it makes you feel a certain way. Or when your partner acts supportive, is it really the support you want, or is it the way you feel when you feel supported, right? So tap into that feeling and write those down, the feelings that you want. That's number 2. Okay. Number 3 is, this one is the most difficult to understand, the most difficult to grasp, the hardest one to grasp. I'm going to make up a word here. It's called beta dies. Beta dies. So we all know we all have heard of the concept of an alpha male, right? And then a beta male, or an alpha female and a beta female. So when you're falling in love, which most of you probably in your relationships at the beginning were falling in love and had a honeymoon phase and all that good stuff, right? Now, when you were in that phase, women, was your man just Superman? Was he amazing? Did you love him? Could he do no wrong? And men, was your girl just like, you wanted nobody else? She was so attractive and she smelled good, and every time you saw her, you just got happy. In your mind, your partner was an alpha male or female to you. Whatever that is to you, they were a high quality partner. Now, we want our partners to stay high quality, but we also don't. So imagine, for example, a man who is very, very in demand, very high quality, some kind of like Brad Pitt dude or whoever the women like these days, I don't know, Justin Bieber, whatever floats your boat, right? Now imagine a man, I like Brad Pitt, okay? So Brad Pitt has a lot of choices with the women. He's a high value man, you know? He has status, he has money, he has looks, he has success, whatever, you know, at least superficial success. I don't know the guy. A lot of men probably envy parts of his life. A lot of women wouldn't mind being with him. So something like that. Now, a woman still wants her boyfriend, Brad Pitt, to be Brad fucking Pitt. Yeah, I mean, like, ugh. But if he really has all those options and he's that high status and that high value, doesn't it mean that other women could maybe take him away? Doesn't it mean that over time, if you're not on top of your game as a woman, if you're not on top of being as awesome, if you don't believe you're as awesome as your partner, if you think you have shortcomings, and we all do, like deep inside for all of us, there's places we can go where we're not satisfied with ourselves, right? Now, doesn't it make sense that if you want your partner to stick around, that it might be a good idea to subconsciously, right? Nobody does this on purpose. Well, some people. Wouldn't it make sense to take your partner and just beta-dize them a little bit? Like, oh, honey, why do you have to go make so many movies? Can't you stay home and watch Netflix tonight? Oh, let's make pasta and watch Netflix in our underwear. Yay! And he's like, if he stays on his purpose, he goes and makes the movie. And that's what you were attracted to in the first place. But maybe he starts to stay home every now and then. And then more. And then it becomes a standard. And it's like, well, we used to watch Netflix 3 nights a week. And it's only like once a month now. What the hell? And slowly, 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 our partners become more just beta. Like almost complacent. But the word is beta here. So it's different for men and women. This is specifically for women. Women, when you think of your husband or your boyfriend, was he more just rock solid, a hunk of man at the beginning, and now sometimes you almost think of him a little bit putsy, almost. You know, he's not as fun. He doesn't smile as much. He's not as engaged with you. He doesn't have that twinkle in his eye. He doesn't have that feeling when you look into someone's eye and you can see that they're alive, and then sometimes you can see that they're kind of glazed over, you know? Is he a little bit more glazed over? And does that piss you off? Does it make you less attracted to him? And so what do, right? What do? We can't force our partner to be more alpha. We just tempt them into being a little bit beta, a little bit beta, a little bit beta. And here's the key, okay? Here's the takeaway from this whole video, is that she's meowing about something. She's down there, kitty cat. Here's the takeaway from this video. This is for men and women. But the masculine feminine roles are what we're talking about here. Women, if you feel like your man is less of that quality, high quality man than when you first met him, starting to rain. Men, if you feel like you don't have that edge anymore, you don't have that swagger, you don't have that life, that spark that makes you want to engage with your woman because you just feel like you're not enough for her. So men, if you feel like this, or women, if you feel like you like this about your man, understand that when a problem arises, it's not about solving the problem. It's about the underlying tone of, I'm going inside, it's raining. Now, if you've watched my webinar, you know that the first shift, the first out of 5 things to do to save your relationship, the first thing is to stop trying to fix it. Because the thing that you're trying to fix isn't the problem. Let's say there's the classic, why don't you take the trash out, honey? Or why am I the only one who picks the kids up from school? Or whatever it is. These things that we get into it with each other that we never would have got into it with each other in the beginning. Why are those things a problem now? And I'm going to tell you that they're not a problem now. They're not the problem. Don't try to fix them. Stop it. Here's the problem. It's the underlying message here. It's, if it's like, I'm going to just make some stuff up here. If it's, why won't you help me with the shit to do around the house? It's not the stuff to do around the house that really matters. Because we love to do things. When we're in love, we love to be of service to our partner. It's the underlying message of why I want you to value me. I want to feel important to you. I want to feel like we did in the beginning. I want to feel like you care about me. I want to feel like a priority to you. I want to feel like you love me. I want to feel like this is special. I want to see that spark in your eyes that gets you lit up, where you would do anything for me. I don't care if you do anything for me. I just want to know that you would do anything for me, that you want to do anything for me, that you desire me, that you love me. It's not the thing that's happening. It's that. It's, I want to know that you care. I want to know that you're here. I want to know that you give a shit. I want to feel special to you. That's it. So we talked about 3 things here. We talked about 3 ways that you know if your relationship is doomed from the beginning. I really want you to focus on this last one, because this is so frequently what happens in a long-term relationship. So women, if you feel like your man isn't giving you that attention, that spark that he had in the beginning, and if you feel like you don't have the ability to connect with your partner, you don't have the motivation to anymore because you don't feel like she values you, looks up to you, thinks you're Superman anymore, then I want you to focus on not trying to fix the problem and instead going deeper and showing your partner that you care. The way that you do that is by, okay, if you're having the fight about the thing, maybe just do the thing or don't worry about it. When you're not fighting about it, find a way to show your partner that they are a priority to you. And the way that you do that isn't through just some token thing. You've heard about the 5 love languages. That's for another topic here. Don't just give a gift. Don't just spend the quality time. It's the energy behind it. Can you look in your eyes in the mirror when you go to spend time with your partner? And do you feel engaged? Are they droopy? Are they glossy? Are they engaged? Are they engaged? Are they engaged? Woo! If they're not, get yourself into a good state. And this, if you've watched the 5 shifts, this is shift number 2. Get yourself into a good emotional state. Whatever it takes. Dance around. Listen to music that makes you happy. Go for a run. Lift some weights. Bake a cookie. Whatever it is that makes you happy. Do that. Get yourself into a peak state and then give that energy to your partner. It doesn't matter what you do. You don't need to go on date night. You don't need to give them a massage. You don't need to give them flowers. Tell them you love them. Stroke their hair with meaning, with pizzazz, just with intent, loving intent. That's a yoga term called metta, M-E-T-A, loving intention. That's it. Hey guys, if you liked that video, give it a thumbs up. Write any comments or questions you have below. I want to tell you about a new opportunity. I normally work with people just one-on-one for 3 months, but I'm launching a new program in a couple of weeks, and it's a 6-week group program. Now, why is this important to you? It's important because you get to work with me for a fraction of the cost of what it costs to do just one-on-one. Now, I'm gonna post a link below here, and we have a rolling enrollment here. I'm only accepting 15 people into the program because it's gonna take a lot of my time. I wanna be able to make sure I can give you still some one-on-one attention. So everybody who enrolls is going to get a personalized one-on-one VIP coaching call, and then you're going to get 6 weeks of unlimited support, and you're going to get a weekly training module where we get on an online webinar together with everybody else who's in the course. You get to ask your questions, and I'm going to take you by the hand and walk you through the not just the 5 that are in my webinar, but we're going to be able to ask you what you need. And we're going to ask everybody in the course what they need and tailor it specifically to you. And so you're going to get not 5, but 6 weeks consecutively of training modules that are done live with me, with everybody else in the group. You're going to be able to connect with people in the group who are just in this group and be able to learn from each other, be able to ask specific questions and reach out for assistance whenever you want. If you want to sign up early, there's a discount for signing up a couple weeks early. There's a smaller discount for signing up 2 weeks early, and then we'll have a rolling registration. Just look in the link below here and give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any questions. You can reply to this video, or you can email me at love@andrewsnowcoaching.com. I look forward to working with all of you.